Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Today, we have a very special guest with us. We have OSF, who is the co-founder of Rektguy, Degenz, and Canary Labs. OSF, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to be invited and be on your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pumped. Michael, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing great.
Yeah. It's been a while since we recorded.
Yeah, it has.
Like
Actually, wait, no, it hasn't. What?
No.
You're throwing me off. Yesterday we recorded.
Yeah. No, it's good to be here. I'm thrilled to have OSF too, pick his brain a little bit, especially on a day like today when people are confused and struggling and aren't really used to things happening like this. So it'll be good conversation, and we're happy to have you, man.
Yeah, we've definitely seen better days, so I'm sure this will be an interesting one to do. It's nice to, I guess, it's the beginning of the day for you guys, but end of the day for me, so it's nice to kind of like wind down a bit and chat about it openly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what should we start with?
So let's start with, this episode's actually going to come out, I think, on Thursday. So everybody knows right now it's Monday. It's Monday, June 13th, and we're kind of mid-afternoon on the East Coast. And OSF you're in London, so it's the evening. I guess it's like 8 p.m. So that's reference when we're talking about the numbers right now. Ethereum is at 1,228. So yesterday was at 1,500 even or whatever it was. Like it's been a bloodbath, for lack of a better term. And NFTs are going down with it. So people have lost 75, 80, 90% in some cases of their valuation that they had 6 weeks ago. And that's all the talk. That's, all the Twitter posts that's what it's about, and all the spaces. I listened to a lot of your guys' space earlier today, the Rug Radio, which you're on every day. And yeah, so what do you have to say, I guess, at a time like this?
Yeah, look, it's very tough. This year has been tough, I think, for lots of people. It's interesting, actually. I did a poll yesterday, and the poll was, how many market cycles have you been through with more than $10,000 in risk assets, excluding your home? So that could be equities, it could be other real estate investments, private equity, crypto, NFTs. And I think it was north of 1,000 votes in the polls. So it's quite a good sample. And the response was about 50% of people responded with this was their first market cycle. So, just like if you extrapolate that data set to the rest of the market, it's like, half of the people in this NFT community are probably going through what's their first market cycle. And it's a vicious one. Like we've had 11 straight weeks of down in crypto, in ETH, which I think is the most ever. And alongside that, you've seen all your NFTs go down in ETH as well. So as you mentioned, everything's down 75, 80, 90%. In a lot of situations, and it's very tough. I think people have been caught off guard. I think it does go to show that there is extremely high correlation with traditional financial markets and with the macro economy. And, that's the main reason. What we're seeing there is the main reason why we saw what we did last year and why we're seeing what we are now, the unwind of it. And it's just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, which I think has shocked a lot of people. And, everyone is sitting there with like something there and is down a lot, and although everything there and is down a lot, if you're like me. And yeah, it's tough, but the way that I look at it is this happens all the time. Like for me, this must be like the, I don't know, 6th or 7th market cycle that I've been through. And like I've seen this story over and over again. It's just, there will be something new in the next few years that will happen, and people figure it out. Humans figure it out. there is a solution to it. We don't know what that is yet, but it will come back. Things will find themselves along the right path, and things will come back. That's just the way it is. And you have to, whatever goes up comes down, it goes back up again. You just have to be able to get yourself in a position to weather these moments.
A couple years, you think? Is that
Look, my personal view is I think this will be not over, but I think we'll be on the right path sooner than people give it credit for. In my opinion, it could be like 6 to 9 months. I think the economy needs to get into a deeper recession. Fed's got to jack up rates, and I think inflation comes down from the demand side. It will be when we're in a recession and people can't afford to spend, and that's when you get control of inflation, and that's when the Fed will actually reverse their communication to the market, become a bit more dovish, start talking about lowering interest rates, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing again. So I really, really believe now is a fantastic buying opportunity, and if you can just have the liquidity that you need it in real life and be patient and hold what you have conviction on, I think it will be one of the best buying opportunities we'll see in our lifetimes, I think.
Well, yeah, no, it seems like that for sure. It's hard at the time, because I know a lot of people. I was talking to a friend of mine that was scared selling his ETH today, and he like messaged me, said, "Should I sell?" And my word to him was literally, "There's no point to sell now." Like, what are you gonna do? Unless you need the money. Like, there are people that just literally need money, any amount of money, and that's one thing. But like, other than that, there's no point to sell the ETH at this point.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. If you have debts to pay off or school fees, or you want to buy a home, then yeah, absolutely you should be selling. But what are you going to do if you don't need the money in real life? You sell it now and you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to wait for things to be better. And when things are better, guess what? The price is higher. So what you've done is you sold it at a lower price and bought back in at a higher price. I think that's what people get confused when they say, I'm waiting for the world to be better. It's like, okay, guy, but when the world's better, the prices are also higher. So it's against all our human psychology and normal emotions to take the opposite side of these things. And lower prices make you more scared, make you want to sell, but you should always be doing the opposite. And it's taken me almost 10 years to understand that. So it's not an easy thing to do, I think.
No, it's not, for sure. And the reason that you're such a good person to talk to, and we've gotten into this kind of chatter, is because you spent a lot of your career working for Barclays, I guess, and in the financial markets, and you have a lot of experience doing that. Just for people's reference, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I started out. I came out of university and started. I worked as a trader at Barclays, and I spent 5 years in London and 3 years in New York. And yeah, the last 10 years of my life have really been looking at markets from like an institutional financial perspective. And I stumbled on NFTs and crypto last year, and realized it was way more interesting than what I was doing. So, but yeah, that's my training by profession, if you like.
Cool.
Can you give me your perspective on Celsius? Because I have money in Celsius, and now you can't withdraw or anything. And I'm like, I should have really been paying more attention to all the different, things I have my money in, and I didn't. And then bam, all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, if you have money in Celsius, it's going to zero. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just great. Like, but yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Celsius news of.
Look, I think saying it's going to zero is quite a strong thing to say. I don't think they should have banned withdrawals. Like, it's very like anti-crypto. It's like kind of anti against what we stand for, right? The whole reason why we have our money in crypto is so we can have access to it and do whatever we want with it. So what they've done is obviously a very centralized action, and I was a bit disappointed to see that. But look, to say everyone holding money in Celsius going to zero, I think is a very strong thing to say. And I think people are getting confused about what happened with Luna and Terra with what's happening right now, and even with the staked ETH versus ETH thing. I think a lot of people maybe put their money in, maybe not having a full understanding of what it was they're putting the money into. And I think that people also panicking also maybe don't have a full understanding of like how it might not be that bad. And that's my opinion here, especially with the staked ETH stuff. Like, look, staked ETH, one staked ETH is literally one ETH. You're just going to get it when the merge happens, and it's going to actually be 6 months after that. So it's not like it's completely different to Luna and Terra, which was like a whole completely different actual real Ponzi. But in this case, it's not even a peg. It's just you will get your ETH when the merge happens. And yes, if the merge is delayed or it takes time,
my ETH.
There is hope for the ETH. So don't stress. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I mostly have ETH and Link. Like Link was like, I went like really hard on like 2 years ago or something, and then like Link has just been like steady. Like Link has never pumped basically. But anyway, yeah, I was like, well, there's not really anything I can do. So it's like, nothing that I can control. It's like, if you can't control it, then just don't worry about it. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. And yeah, even though it's like, okay, yeah, maybe all of our portfolio values are going down. It's like, well, there's not really anything that we can particularly do about it, like unless you're trying to sell and stuff. And I'm not really trying to sell. So I'm like, I'll just ride this out and like just go along with the journey, Just
love it. Right. That's absolutely the right attitude in my book. I'm the same. So love to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I also bought the top of crypto in 2017. So like, I'm like, you know what? It can't be if it's as bad as that. Well, whatever. At least I still like have a job, and I don't know. Like, you have to think about the things that you have, and not focus on the things that are bad. Like, I feel like Twitter right now, it's like kind of crazy. Everyone's like tweeting all these depressing things, and it's like, I get it because they want to relate, and they want to vent, but it's like we need some positivity. Like, if the market just keeps going down, we're going to be in a bear market for the next, year or maybe longer, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Like, are you just going to be tweeting about that the whole time? Like, you might as well focus on something else, like, but, and I understand why a lot of people leave too. It's like, you don't really want to put your attention towards that if it's like, it's not bringing you joy. You don't want to see all the tweets about the bear market and everything. But yeah, I think we need some more positivity on the timeline.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like these times can be the best time. And it's kind of like a meme to say it, but they are for the best times for going out there and creating things and building things, and sometimes like the way I see it, like when it's a bull market, everything's going higher, you feel very like pushed and frantic, like to do things and get things done in time. Now it's kind of like, well, look, prices aren't really going anywhere, so I can just kind of chill and take my time to perfect whatever it is I'm trying to do. So
yeah.
It's the way I say it. I'm definitely a glass half full kind of guy. So if you haven't realized that already, so
that's great. No, I do really like that. I love hearing you talk, and definitely gives confidence. And you're right. People that are like, if you have an idea and you have the time, work on it right now. You don't even have to go public with it. You'll know when the right time is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. For sure.
So you're throwing an event in New York. We should talk about that, because I know probably a solid amount of our listeners are going to be in New York during NFT.NYC. And I saw you just announced it like 19 hours ago or something. So yeah, tell us about your event.
Yeah, so it's for one of our NFT projects, which is it's some of my art. We also collab with Alien Queen, so she's also a co-founder of the project, and then some of her art as well. It's called Rektguy, so it's kind of very in vogue right now. I think we never like meant to do it because of the bear market. It's something that I'd actually thought about doing in January, so we've been working on it for a few months now. But it just so happened that was the timing for it. But yeah, we got that project out about a couple of weeks ago, and we were wondering. We never really planned to do anything at NFT.NYC, and there were people who wanted to do something. So we just yesterday we just managed to land the box as a venue, the box in New York, which is, I don't know if you guys have ever been. Yeah, it's a very cool, it's kind of like a variety show. So you go in there and it's like a cross between like a nightclub, a bar, a circus. It's very,
circus. Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's very like, it's kind of like very on brand with my art. I think some of my art's like a little bit darker, a little bit like what's going on here, or like stuff you see that you shouldn't see, but you're curious to see. And I think that's what the box is. I think it's the perfect venue. It's like a venue of curiosities, that's exactly what it is. And I think I'm really pumped about getting that as a venue. I'm really, really excited to do this event. So it's going to be on Sunday, the 19th of June, with the 9 p.m. entry. Father's Day, exactly.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll have tickets on Token Proof. So yeah, I'm really excited about that event. I think it'll be a good one.
That looks really cool. Yeah. I'm landing at 9 and JFK. So I'll probably get to my hotel around 10. I'll probably sign up. It might be a little tight.
You'll show up fashionably late.
Yeah. If I show up, exactly. I see it's going till 1 a.m. So even if I show up at like 11.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
And this is
That's
for
and I have a Rektguy. Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, this is for Rektguy holders, exclusive token gated event.
Yeah.
Although OSF said I could get the hookup, so I might be there.
Well, each one will get a +1. So if Mike's signed up as well, he can be a +1.
Michael, I can be your +1.
Andy will be a little mad, but okay. All right, I got you.
No, then I'd have to leave my boyfriend at the hotel. I can't ditch him in New York. But yeah, New York is gonna be so much fun. There's so many different events going on. Yeah. I'm throwing an event too on the 22nd, and yeah, it's just gonna be a blast. There's a lot of things happening. But I wanted to kind of hear about your NFT journey and how you got started in NFTs, just for people that are kind of new to listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, the first NFT that I bought was in February of last year, and my friend Mando, I don't know if you guys have come across him as well, but we actually relate to the crypto game. Like you guys are like OGs to me, being involved in 2017 and stuff. We got into crypto like January 21. That's the first time I ever touched crypto. I'd been a crypto skeptic for many years, and it was like an inflation thing for me. Like it was just like I was looking at it from like a traditional finance perspective, and so I bought Bitcoin, I bought ETH, and then he eventually got me into NFTs. And the first thing I bought was a one of one, and I just kind of got sucked into it and addicted to it, just like how everyone else did. It was just like you enter this. I got signed up for Twitter, and you just enter this like new world. A new community where people are just like buying things, selling things, talking about this project, and I was like, wow, it was just so interesting to me, and there are so many similarities to it with my job at the time. It was like the product that I traded was like something that was like very volatile. It had big price moves. It was over the counter, so you had to like list. Yes, you couldn't just like. It's not like you go into an exchange and you just sell your ETH and you get the price straight away. You had to go through a process of like calling someone else up to buy, etc. So it was. The way that this market traded had so many similarities to my job, and I was just so fascinated with it. But as time went on, I went from like just flipping things to try and make a bit of money for fun, to buying things that I wanted to hold long term, to creating a project, to like understanding what Web3 really meant, understanding what crypto really means. And I just really like it's just like one day where I just really got it, and I was like, this is like I really believe in a lot of this stuff, and I love being part of this community. And yeah, it just went from messing around one day in February to doing it full time like I am now. So it was a pretty wild journey, really, and something I didn't really expect that would happen.
Nice. Yeah. And then you have art on Super Rare, you have art on OpenSea, like you kind of have art everywhere. And your first project was Degenz, right? That you came out with, which, oh my gosh, I remember Degenz. Like that is such like an OG project to me, thinking about 2021, like all those projects that came out. And that project actually, like one of the things that Michael and I, it's like one of the questions that we kind of ponder over, and we're like, is can a project bounce back from zero? Like if it goes to zero, can it bounce back? And we're kind of like, we kind of don't know. Like, I'm kind of more like, I don't think it can. Like, and Degenz literally bounced back from zero. The floor is 0.55 right now. So there's hope for all of you out there. If you're like, no, this project's at zero, there's hope. But I'm just curious, like, I guess, how did you get it to bounce back? Like, what do you think were the determining factors that played into that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so we launched Degenz almost a year ago now. I think it was the 6th or 7th of July. So almost a year ago. And we didn't really know what we were doing. Like, here we are, like two guys who work in banking, like trying to do an NFT project. And we're just like, let's just get involved. We wanted to create like a comic book, a cartoon brand. And what we realized is that like managing a community and managing a project is actually way harder than you think it is. And I think people often realize that they bite off more than they can chew. And that's what happened with us. And we did it and it didn't work. Like people didn't like the art or whatever, people didn't like the project. It went to zero. We did something to try and revive it. It went back up again, then it went to zero again. And it wasn't like really for lack of trying. It wasn't that we had the wrong intentions or anything like that. We just realized we weren't good at creating like a comic book kind of thing. Like neither of us had any experience in it. How are we going to just suddenly become like these, creators of like comic and cartoons and stuff? So it got to the end of December and the price was it went to zero. It was like 0.000001. Loads of them were listed there. And so my friend Michael Manda, and I was like, look, we've got to figure out a way to get this to work, because we sold people these NFTs and then we definitely felt indebted to everyone we sold the NFTs to. We felt indebted to the community. And we're also like, we're not really the sort of people that like to fail at things. And we both like a challenge, and this was a challenge. So we're like, hey, what are we actually good at? Like, let's just change this into like something that we're good at and we know about, which was like trading or investing and stuff, and like maybe leveraging on some of the experience in our previous jobs. So we basically changed it into, we originally called it an alpha group. I don't like the connotations of an alpha group, because I think they're often used for creators to use their followers as exit liquidity and people doing pump and dump kind of things. I think it has negative connotation. So we branded it as like an NFT resources group. And what we started doing was like, okay, Degenz maybe at zero, but let's give people some value to owning a Degenz. So we token gated our Discord, and I started writing like daily commentary in it, like market commentary, like here's what I think of macro, crypto, NFTs, here are the stats we're looking at. We weren't making calls. We weren't saying, I think this is going to go higher, or I think you should buy Cool Cats, or I think you should buy Alien Friends, whatever. We weren't doing any of that. We're like, this is what I think about Alien Friends. These are all the positives, these are the negatives. You now have the tools to go away and make your own decisions. And it just ended up actually being quite, people started to rejoin the community, and find some value in what we're putting out. And from then we grew it to actually writing long form NFT reports. So I think we have about 75 NFT reports on pretty much like the top 75 projects now, which are like 3 to 10 page reports. We have like a team of analysts who's written them. And these are all things that you get by owning one of these NFTs. And so I think we rebranded it into like, we stopped focusing on the floor price. So let's stop focusing on the floor price and think about, why would someone want to own one of these things, and what can we give them to make them feel like, oh, it's actually worth owning one of these things. And the rest happened afterwards. So we're doing actually a drop tomorrow, because I think the current formatting is a bit confusing. Like, what's a Degenz? What's a Regens? What do I get? What's this weird profile picture thing? So we're rebranding it to a Degenz Access Pass, and everyone will get airdropped one of these tokens, each holder, and then that will be the token which will serve as your utility for accessing the Discord, accessing the NFT reports, and also accessing more NFT drops. And look, Rektguy was a free drop for Degenz, and that started out performing relatively well. And I think that's a good strategy that we can use with other artists as well, because it's a good platform for artists also to get some exposure. So that's the plan with that. And that was like our third attempt at trying something. And to be honest with you, as I said, it's taken us a year to get it to work. So for anyone out there who's struggling with a project, like, you just have to stick it out. Like, I think it doesn't work after 1 month or 2 months or 6 months. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You just have to have some perseverance. And I think if you go through a period of tough times and people see that you're still trying, that's a good thing for your project, because people like to buy into founders. People like to buy into the creators. And I think for us, people are like, okay, these guys are not going to give up, so let's give them a shot. And I think that definitely helped us. In a way, it was maybe a good thing we went through what we did, because I think people now realize that we're never going to leave it or desert it or anything like that. We're always going to try our best to make it work.
Thanks for sharing that and being vulnerable. That's really cool. And that's really admirable too. And I hope that a lot of our listeners can kind of take away some lessons from that. Can you also tell us about Rektguy, which is like your latest and greatest project and looks so freaking cool? I clicked on the link in your bio. I think it's OSF.NFT, right? I think, is that right? Yeah, OSF.art. And it's like, trigger warning, like if you are susceptible to seizures, do not continue. And I was like, oh my God. And I like continued, of course. And it's like, first of all, the site looks great. Everyone should check out the site if you don't have seizures and stuff. But the Rektguy's art is amazing. And I'm just curious if you could talk to us about the art and the project.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was a lot younger, from the age of like 13 to 18, I used to actually spend all my time online, and I did a lot of digital art. Like I taught myself how to code, and I was basically like an online degen, but like 15 years ago, and there was no like crypto or anything. There's no way you could really make money. And it was weird. It was like, people still had the thing of like trying to have a presence. And I was on this platform called DeviantArt, which was where everyone would share their art in the old days, basically. Makes me feel old saying that now. But yeah, there was like a great community. It was, I loved it. It was awesome, but it was just a hobby for me. And I never really thought I could like make money out of that. And after I turned 18 and went to university and stuff, I basically pretty much stopped doing it altogether. So when I entered NFTs, I was like, wow, this is the same thing that I used to do like 15 years ago, but now people are actually selling them for real money and crypto, etc. And it was really super interesting. But I looked at all the art and I was like, wow, people are so talented, and digital art has progressed so much from when I used to do it, that I was like, I'm not good enough to do this stuff. I'm not creative enough to do this stuff. That was what was in my head. But yeah, I was in September last year, I was bored at work, and I was just scribbling something in my notebook. And that was the first thing that I drew of Rektguy, which is basically like the skull and like a hoodie with like GM on his hoodie and stuff. And it was kind of meant to be like semi-autobiographical. I was like, yeah, this is me when I'm like losing money or something, or doing some weird degen thing. That was like the idea behind it. And so I minted it for fun. I drew it digitally. I got an iPad and I drew it digitally because I just wanted to like have a go at doing it. And I minted it for fun. I think it sold for like 0.5 ETH or something on Foundation. But I never really like, even at this point, I was like, I'm gonna just do this stuff for fun. And with each, I just did a new piece, and with each sale, it kept going higher and higher and higher. And then by the time I got to like January, February, my pieces were selling for reasonable amounts, and I got accepted to Super Rare. So I really wanted to do something that was like, at this point I had like a lot of people who like really wanted to collect something. I was like, I really want to like give something to people that can feel like a piece of Rektguy, feel a piece of like what this art is about. And so I came up with the idea to make it into a profile picture project. And I didn't want to do like, I had my experience with DJs like that. I don't want to do something where I make money off it up front. I don't want to like make promises, anything like that. So I'm just going to make this free. It's going to be, if you own Degenz, if you own any of my art or any projects that I've been affiliated with, then you can come in and have a free mint. We did a public raffle as well. And that's how that came about, really. It was just like, I just wanted like people to have a, like feel a part of like the stuff that I was doing, the stuff that I was drawing, which I felt like it was just like, it's all kind of autobiographical. It's like, it's us like doing shit online and being Degenz and getting wrecked and that kind of stuff. And, that's basically where the idea behind Rektguy came. And, the timing of it was pretty funny, because the timing of it, even though I was thinking about it and working on it for months, the timing of it happened to be when, the markets crashed. And I think people just resonated with it. People just like, yeah, look, we're all just getting wrecked here. But yeah, here's a community we can come in and just talk about how wrecked you are with other people and just empathize with each other. And that's what it's turned into, which is great, because it's been awesome to, everyone's going through a tough time right now. And it's great to find a community where you can just like chat to people and everyone can be on the same page and console each other, revel in each other's sorrows, basically, which is what it's become.
Yeah, that project hit just right at the right time for sure.
I remember that way.
No. Yeah, I remember when you announced it, and you announced that it was going to be free and the holders of this and that. I actually bought one of your pieces. I forget exactly which one. I have to look, for like 0.6, and then sold it for like 1.3 like 3 days later. Like everything like pumped up. Yeah. So I didn't,
nice.
and then once the project came out, I went in and got one that I liked.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. It worked out really well, and I'm happy to have it. Absolutely. It's cool stuff. I love listening to you. So like, it's kind of like we've said before, like the artists that do well are like people think good art like comes from people that they think are cool and that they like, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Is that? I don't know if I said that exactly.
I don't often get called cool, so I'll
yeah. I mean, like artists. So in the space, you're cool in the space. You're cool, man. Yeah, you could, yeah. But like like art is so subjective that like sometimes like I don't like you could see the nicest piece of art in the world and nobody knows about it, nobody's buying it. Then a couple scribbles on a paper and it, you know, sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a crazy thing. It's hit or miss, you know.
I was gonna say I love the Rektguy confessions. Like you guys tweet out from the Rektguy's account, like these like confessions that people have of getting wrecked, like which it's like sad, but it's kind of like it's like I don't know. I like reading them because it's like, oh my god, like that person is really down bad, and it goes with the theme of it all. And I think that's really cool too. Of like just the concept of like confessions and you know, it's just completely anonymous and you guys are just like tweeting them out. I think that's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was Manda's idea, and it was a fantastic idea. Because people have a lot of stories right now. People have a lot of stories about how, you know, look, it's not there to make fun of people who've lost money, and I'm glad that no one has taken it that way. It's there to be like, look, you're not alone. Like you're not alone losing money. There are a lot of people out there, and chances are there's someone out there who's lost a lot more than you. And I think people have been reading that in the comments are like, oh, look, I don't feel as bad now. Like this is what happened to this person. And I think also when people submit us the DMs or submit us their confessions, I think they kind of feel like it's like a weight off their chest as well. Like we've received a lot of DMs, and some people have been like, you know what, I feel so much better having sent you guys that confession and just having made light of it and made fun of it. It does take the edge off a lot. And
it's like therapy.
It's like therapy. It literally is like therapy. Like it literally is. But we've received some like interesting DMs, and not all of them are about crypto or losing money. They're just like general rec stuff, and unfortunately we can't tweet them all out. But yeah, if I ever get to meet you guys in real life, and I'll show you behind the DMs of that one, because there's some pretty crazy ones there. Yeah, pretty crazy ones. We're just like, we're just like, we cannot tweet this out.
Now I really have to go to the Rektguy's party.
Exactly.
Michael, get me in. Michael, buy me a Rektguy. I'll finesse my way. I'll figure it out.
We'll get you in, don't worry.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I like that. It's too, and it's niche. It's like, okay, it's kind of only related to Web3, right? Because it's like not all the personal stories, because I'm sure people have some pretty crazy stories. Yeah. My personal life right now is kind of crazy. So I'm like, I'm actually kind of unfazed by this like crypto stuff happening. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it's not that bad in the grand scheme of things. It's just money, right? Like, we can always make more money. I don't know.
I started an OnlyFans. So
no, stop.
No, sorry. Okay.
No. Oh my gosh.
We could always make more money.
We can always make more money.
Well, it's always the way, isn't it? When everything goes up, people are like, oh, I could have made this much more. When it goes down, it's like, I should have sold. And, you know, I'm a big believer in the concept of the grass is always greener, and it literally, genuinely always is. The grass is always greener. So,
but the grass is green where you water it, you know.
That's also a good saying like that.
You gotta be watering. Big Sean, his song. He's like, the grass isn't always green on the other side. It's green where you water it. So I know you got it. Okay, let me not sing. I sang the last episode too.
That's 2 episodes in a row. Yeah.
I actually think in song. Like I often like just like sing my words. I'm not even good at singing. I just genuinely think in songs sometimes. So like
I hear that. There's some song lyrics that I've heard that I've taken with me my entire life. There's some songs you just like, that's a good perspective. Same thing with stand-up comics. I think sometimes they say something makes you look at things a different way.
Yep.
But yeah. So let's revert a little bit to your collecting. I'm not sure if Jennifer knows this, but I learned it in the article that I read. You minted 150 Bored Apes.
Hey.
Yeah, I did. That was an interesting time.
Yeah.
Where are they now?
It's a funny story, actually. I just quit my job, and like I'd been out for drinks and stuff. I came back. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I don't know what came over me. I was just in this moment of like YOLO-ness, and at this point, I never collected any other collectible. By the way, I was just collecting one-of-one art, and
wow,
I just saw a bunch of people minting Bored Ape Yacht Club on Twitter, and I I went on the website, and it was the first website that I'd seen in the space. Like, wow, these guys have done this really well. It would look professional, made sense. It was the first NFT project that was pitching itself as like, this is a members club. Like, I was like, I have no idea what this yacht club thing is, but I got it. I was like, I get the concept of like wanting to be part of some kind of exclusive club, which gives you access to cool things. Like, and this was the first thing that I saw. So I definitely I'm the sort of person that acts impulsively sometimes. Actually, I've changed a lot over the last year or so. I'm actually much more calm and collected now. But I used to act extremely impulsively, just on like feeling and instinct and stuff. And I just got that feeling with this one. I was just like, this is like the best thing. And I was like, so I basically just kept minting until my wallet was down. So it's like 150 of them, and I was telling everyone to mint them. I was telling Mando, and he was like, stop. He's like, please stop minting. You're going to lose all your money. I was telling Keyboard Monkey as well, and he was like, Keyboard Monkey's like, I'm too drunk, like I can't do it now. But I sold them all. I sold most of them in the next 2 or 3 days, below like 0.4 ETH or something like that. And I was like, I'll keep some rare ones. I had a gold one with a beanie and a pipe. I think it's like the best ape. I had a trippy one. I had like a 13th rarest one, which had like the blue beans. I had such a good collection of really aesthetic rare apes, and I was like, okay, I'll just keep the rare ones and sell the rest. But then what happened was you had this big crypto crash last year in May, similar time of the year, and at that point in time, I didn't really think, no one really knew if NFTs would keep going the way they did and if they would really take off. So I was like, look, I'm just going to sell everything I have, and I sold them all. I sold the rare ones all like for like 5 ETH or 4 ETH or whatever. And
wow.
We did actually get back into them. So Mando bought 72 of them in July.
72 of them?
What? In
July? Whale alert.
Wow.
And we joined our collections together in September. So we actually still own all of them. We haven't sold any of them, the 72 that we have. So we got back in the game at a much higher price. But I was like, when he was buying them, I was like, dude, I'm not touching this. I had so much like pain from having sold them. But I realized it's one of those things, you got to strip the emotion out, and he convinced me to do that. And that was like the best trade that we ever ended up being the best trade we ever done. So it's not easy to do, and sometimes you just need a second opinion to help push you over the edge or get you in the right mindset.
That's wild. What made you go I love the volume, because I kind of do the same thing. I was a ticket broker for a long time. When I read your article, you talked about all the different ways that being an investment, I don't know what your title was with Barclays or whatever, but like working in financials. I was a ticket broker, and I brought a lot of the things with me. You brought a lot of things with you, and volume is one of those. Is that what made you buy so many? Just knowing, because there weren't a lot of projects that had blown up like that, that like Bored Apes kicked off everything.
Yeah, I would say like the way that I used to trade when I was at Barclays was like, it was never and the same. It's not just me; it's my friend and partner Amanda as well. Like, it was never really like diverse. It's never about being diversified or like taking the small wins, moving on. It was always like, let's just go big, concentrated in one thing. And I think that's just always the way I've been, really. Like, whether it's in trading or investing or just like how I am as a person, I'm very much like an all or nothing kind of person, which I think makes me come across as like quite crazy or volatile, or whatever. And it was no different to me. Like, I think when I just like get that feeling about something, I just really trust my instinct, but I really go for it. And it doesn't mean I'm right. Like, I've done that on other things and I've been wrong. But in my experience, like, you just need like 1 in 10 of those things to be right, and that can offset all the other things. And it was weird. I remember it so clearly as well. I remember just like, I was doing it from my phone. I had MetaMask my phone then, and I was like, just mint, and then the next one, mint, the next one, like, like my wife was sleeping beside me. I was like, she has no idea what I'm doing right now, just like minting all this stuff. But I can't really explain to you why I just kept going. It was just like, I just like had that just had that feeling in me. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. But look, I've done that before on other things, and it's gone to zero. So you could just say it's luck, and it probably is just luck. So, but all it takes is to get one right, and nice. It pays the rest of them. So
yeah, it's true. Cool.
Do you still have I remember because I've been following you on Twitter for a while, and I kind of consider you like, I know you're like, oh, I got into the game late. Like, I consider you an OG for NFTs anyway. And when I started following you, you had your CryptoPunk. I think it has orange hair, right? Your ginger. Okay, do you still have that? Because that's what I remember you as your profile for a long time. You had that. Like,
yeah, I had that page. I actually really liked that punk. I love like the red hair and glasses. But
yeah.
No, I sold it. I had two punks and I sold them both. Because I was just like not really happy with what Lava Labs were doing, and I think I understand a bit more about what punks are really about now. And it's not really about Lava Labs or Yuga Labs. It's a piece of art. It's a historical collectible, and that's what you collect it for. But at the time, I was like, look, there's all this like Web3 stuff, and people are creating these brands in real life things, metaverse, blah, 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 all the like buzzword stuff. I was like, I like this punk, but from what can I make more money on? And this is a lot of capital tied up, well, a decent amount of capital tied up in this thing. We just decided to sell it basically. And it was a sad passing of ways, because I had that one and I had one before that I used for a while. And that was like, those two punks were like my PFP for a good like 10 months or something like that, and it's tough. It's like moving out of a home or something. It's tough to leave those behind. But we sadly moved on. That was I called that one the Ed Sheeran punk. I tried to show it to him many times, but he didn't buy it.
oh my gosh. How did you get into punks? Like, when did you, because you said you got two, like, when did you buy them, and like, how did you find out about CryptoPunks?
Yeah. So I was aware of them from like the beginning, and I just didn't touch them because I felt like it was something that was being pumped and shilled by a lot of influencers at the time. And I was like, look, I understand the value of art and one of one's NFTs, but who cares about these things? And it was just being shilled too hard, So I didn't touch them for ages. And then when Sotheby's announced they're going to do a CryptoPunk auction, I was like, okay, this has changed now. Like, the game has changed here, because, and this is before Sotheby's were doing auctions and all that kind of stuff. It's like the scripts have flipped, because you now have a very established and reputable traditional art auction house auctioning these CryptoPunks. And these are now going to be everything that people were saying about, like, these are going to be historical, like these are the first profile pictures, first ERC-721 contracts, whatever. People are actually now going to start buying into those theses. So I bought one right after that announcement, because I was like, this is a paradigm shift in what these are about. And I also bought one, the second one I bought right after that Visa announcement. I think it was like end of July or August, like right before.
Oh my God.
Right before that crazy. Yeah, I know. Good times. I long for those days to be back.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny, because there was a period in time, now nobody cares if, and maybe, I don't even know, but there was a period of time when it was like, oh, if there was some popular company that buys like a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape, mostly they were buying CryptoPunks. And then they started buying Bored Apes. Like, I remember Arizona Iced Tea, like, bought a Bored Ape, and everyone was like, oh my God, like, they're with the times, let's go. And everyone would be so excited when these companies would announce that they like acquired, an ape or a punk. And usually that's what it was. It wasn't really anything else besides that. But and that was like so exciting, because everyone was like, oh my God, mainstream's going to know about it. And it's so crazy to think that now, like, I kind of feel like maybe I don't know. I kind of feel like most people have heard about NFTs. Like, they've at least heard the word. Maybe they don't really understand it. Probably barely any people truly understand it, but at least they've heard about them. And it's like, that's kind of crazy to think, because, man, I mean, I just remember Top Shot days. It was like, there weren't all these ETH projects coming out, and it was like late 2020, right? And I didn't even know about ETH projects and stuff. And like, nobody knew, they weren't even calling them NFTs. Like, they weren't calling the Top Shot moments NFTs. It was like just these blockchain collectibles or whatever. And I don't know, it's so bizarre to think how fast this space has truly grown, and to really think about, just how quickly everything's moved with NFTs. So, I mean, it makes sense that things are like coming crashing down, right? Because everything just shot up so quick and just has been an insane, crazy ride.
Yeah, it's look, it's been wild. We've seen everything go up, we've seen everything come down. But I'm confident that NFTs are here to stay. You know, like you have two things going on right now, which is like you have all this macro stuff and global recession, blah blah blah, and it's all very bad. But you do have this rise and shift towards digital trends. You know, we spend all our time online, whether it's on our phones or laptops and stuff, and you can see that humans have really like adopted and latched onto the concept of digital identity. And it's not just that, it's like the idea of like Web3 and like different like business to consumer concepts that like, you know, actually getting rewarded as a collector of something rather than just like taking money away from collectors. You know, that you go buy a Rolex and you get a Rolex and they make all the money and that's great, right? And a cool watch. But here you buy an ape or whatever and they make some money and then they're like, oh, we'll give you this, you make some money. And it's kind of like a different kind of relationship where you actually feel part of the community. And like the concept of community is like, has become such a meme, like community this, community that, community this. But it's true, like, especially in times like these, you like, I've made some amazing friends in the last 18 months through NFTs. I'm sure you guys have too. And I never really believed in the in real life stuff taking off. But look, I went to East Denver, I went to South by in Austin, and I was just absolutely blown away by like how many people turned up to the NFT events. And like at South by, you had like the Twitter thing, the Facebook thing, the CNN thing, whatever, empty, all of them empty. But the Doodles thing, like the Blackwell thing, you couldn't even get into them.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you couldn't get into them. And I think NFT.NYC is going to be no different. Like you guys have seen how many different things there are, and they're all going to be full. And that's something you can never. One thing you can never write off is community, because when people get together and club together and work together on something in mass force, it will override anything. And you saw that with stuff like GameStop, right? Like a bunch of people got together and was like, we're not selling this, we're going to fight the Wall Street guys, and they won. And I think NFTs definitely have that element to them. And there's a lot of bad actors in the space, a lot of projects I think will go to zero that are run by bad actors, but we all know what the good ones are. And I think those communities to me are strong, and I still see the same people that I've seen over the last 18 months turn up to Twitter every day or turn up to whatever Twitter spaces, or, you know, you guys are still doing these podcasts, etc. Like people are still out here grinding. I think that's all you need for this stuff to work. So
yeah.
100%.
Speaking of the Twitter, it's exactly right. They're really good points. How did you guys get caught up with Rug Radio, with Farouk and all that? Like, how did that come about? Because is that just been a couple months since you guys have been kind of leading those with him? I'm trying to remember.
It's been since the start of the year. So it's been a while now, actually.
6 months, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think when we started, so we quit, Mando and I quit our jobs in December, and we're like, we want to do more in this space, so let's do a regular Twitter Spaces thing. So we started doing it ourselves. Yeah. And then Farouk said, hey, we're launching Rug Radio. So we're just like, okay, let's do it together.
For sure.
And that's it.
The Web3 vibe of collaborating over competing, like, you know, I think I love how everybody just kind of knows the importance of collaborating with each other. And I think that's what really helps a lot of projects move along and people coming together. Like NFT.NYC, like you said, in real life, like, never underestimate the power of human connection, real world connection. Like there's something special about physically, like literally the energy, you know, like being actually right next to somebody, like that's a very special thing. And I think, you know, everyone's like, oh, no one's going to NFT.NYC is canceled because of the bear market. And it's like, no, it's not. Like there will be people there, and that'll be great for people, I think. And when VCon, like, ETH was crashing, like NFTs were down, but nobody really cared that much about that. They were just excited to meet other people that had the same interests, you know? Yeah. I think that's the main thing.
I think NFT.NYC will be amazing. And to be honest with you, like the fact that everything is down, I think will make it that little bit more special. You know, like we're all going to be there. It's like we're all in the same boat. We're all getting crushed, and let's just, you know, who cares? Let's just go out and have a good time. And I think that's exactly what will happen. And you know what? I think we'll come back from it all with like stronger. You know, it'll be a big morale boost. I think we'll come back from it feeling like, you know what? this is, I know it's like, we're here for the art, we're here for the community, blah, 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 but I know everyone wants to like make a bit of money out of it. But, you know, when you come back from these kind of events, you'll come back and be like, you know what, I'm down money, but that was worth it. Like it was worth going out there and just being part of it. And, you know, these things, people will write about these things, these conferences in books in years to come. And this one will be one of the most amazing ones and famous ones, I think. And I really believe that. So yeah, these moments we're living through now will become historic. And I think it's how bad it is now, we'll have a story to tell in a few years.
We're making history.
We are.
Woo, let's go.
Were you at the NYC last year, the November one?
Yeah, so I was going, I did go. Unfortunately, I was able to go for one day because I actually used to live in New York for 3 years, and I was traveling on my visa, but I had to like, because of the COVID restrictions, I had to get like some special approval, which I didn't have. So I actually almost got onto the plane and they said, no, you can't enter.
Oh, wow.
And then I got the approval overnight, but I basically ended up going for like 12 hours. So it wasn't really the same. So I'm really pumped about being able to do it properly this year.
Cool.
And excited to be back in New York as well. Like I love New York. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that, we'll end it unless, Michael, you have any last minute things you want to say?
No. Yeah. The only thing I usually ask is, so I'd like, if you want to throw out some artists or some projects that you really like that you're into, and, you know, maybe our community will look into them, and just stuff that you like, that you think is people that are doing really good things in the space.
Yeah. I really like, with regard to artists, there's a couple that I really like. I really like Alien Queen. I think her art is so unique and different, and I think she's going to
get her on. She has
have to get her on.
Yeah, let's get her on. Yeah,
I love her.
She has really cool art. She has the most amazing story as well. So you should definitely get her on to speak about her story. I just think she's just like something different in the space, you know, and it's really cool to see people like that succeed, because, like, you know, Web3 enables this, and so she's someone I'm a really big fan of with regard to artwork. With regard to projects, I don't know, what do I like right now that I think is interesting? There's a lot of like all this goblin stuff out there, isn't there, which seems to be taking the focus.
Jennifer's real huge into goblin shit. That's a big one.
No, don't spread lies about me.
But I would say one that I really like, I would say, is Rug Radio. I know I'm kind of affiliated with it. I'm not part of it, but I think that's something different, because it's not just an NFT product where it's a profile picture. It's like a very big community expanding concept. And the idea of decentralized media, I think, is very important. Like you see all this like rubbish that's reported in traditional media about our space and censorship and all this stuff that's just like, you know, people don't really have a like free speech or be like saying the right things. And this is like, I kind of view this as like, this is a podium for like the people. It's like all of us to actually go out there and be able to like speak out about whatever it is you want to speak out about, with what now has a very wide reach. And so I think that is a very interesting project to be a part of. And it's a slow burner, you know, like it's not like one of these hype things where you'll buy it today and double your money tomorrow. It's going to be something that I think will be very big and over the course of like a few months and a few years. But those guys are working really hard on building that. And, you know, there are spaces every single day on Rug Radio, and even throughout these times as well. And I think there's a few projects that are doing that. But that's when, you know, like the guys that are turning up on days like today and just out there still doing it are the ones that you want to be invested in, I think, because you know, they're going to be a lot stronger on the way up. So those are my two picks.
Cool. Love that. Yeah, I love Rug Radio too. I have a couple of those.
Awesome.
Yep.
And you get to yield some rug while you own it. So
yeah.
It's not worth very much right now, but maybe one day.
And I see. I was just gonna say, I see Alien Queens down in Miami. Just I'm down here too in South Florida, so we definitely gotta get her on. I just followed. I'll probably send her a message and say what's up. Jennifer usually has better.
I'm the one that has to reach out to all the people.
Yeah. Usually they're like
the sacrificial lamb. Yeah, thank you so much, OSF, for coming on the show. This has been such a great episode. And yeah, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective on things and just, you know, your glass half full perspective. I think we really need that right now. And so, yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to come on, guys. And I appreciate everything you guys are doing. And it's good to see that you guys are still business as usual in these tough times. So
yeah.
We'll all make it through together. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. Episode 65.
Wow, 65 episodes.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. So when did you guys start doing this?
August.
Early August. Yep.
Oh, wow, so it's like one a week, pretty much.
It was one a week. Yeah, it was one a week till the beginning of this year, and then we started doing 2 a week. Yeah,
I was very adamant on like, I don't want any guests. I want just us. Like, I don't know. I was very like, just us talking about the news strictly, like whatever. And then this year, I was like, you know, we should have guests. And Michael was like, yes, finally. And we like started doing guests once a week. Yeah. And
we built up. We have an awesome we have a great community of people that like they reach out to us all the time and listen to us. We have a Discord. It's been really amazing. We've had tons of fun doing it. So.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'd love to be more of a part of it. So I'll check out more of you guys' stuff and join the Discord, etc. after this. So
beautiful.
Well, all right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Hopefully, everybody listening to this enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.